G'day and welcome. In this one, I can't even tell you what I did. It was a whole lot of little things. So we're most of the way through getting the XC's grille done. I started pulling the EJ's Plenum apart. Well, I've pulled it apart. There's a bit on the little 302 engine. We go to the other garage in the other place and have a look around and look at the XA. So there's a bit on the direction we're going with the XA. And a few other bits and pieces, so hope you enjoy. Right, it's after work. We've got some work to do. Big lie. And it is, which is no lie, 41 degrees, which is considerable. Oh, I'll put that big helicopter fan on. And is it plugged in? Yeah, here we go. Power, and I have to put it on 5, not 6, because 6 it vibrates through the garage. Is it going to start? Yep, good. Okay. Even the camera doesn't like the temperature. Ooh, feel the heat come off that. It'll cool down soon. Right, so what's we've got to do? We've got to take the front off this car, right, the fellow, for 2 reasons. One, I need to take the front off to get the doors off. I don't want to see exactly where to drill for the wiring on one side. And I'll explain the other in a minute. The other thing is the XC's guards are on and semi-gapped over there, and I've only got one bumper bolt. Don't know what happened to the bumper bolts on that. It didn't come with bumpers attached to it, so I'm assuming they got lost. I'm going to take the bumper bolts out of this and hope like hell they fit. They could be metric, and the XC's probably impure, I'm not sure. The other thing is this guy, EJ Holden. There's a couple of things with this. Graham's decided, because he couldn't shift his, that he wanted to buy some doors back, which doesn't bother me. I've got a ripper bonnet and boot lid and a ripper set of Y-frames. One thing I don't like about EJ's is the grey matter. I much prefer reds, so I might actually stick a red in it. I thought I could, because he gave me all the bits to fix it. I can weld up, where those Y-frames are, I can cut those off and weld on the new brackets and fit the Y-frames with the red motor front end and wheels so it's rollable. And that is a lot better than starting again, although it's easy to get to the plenum with no Y-frame on it. Now this XC is hardening off well. We've had some massive temperatures and it's been like an oven in here. Is it bloody going out of... Oh, that line is terrible. I've got to put a new line on there. And just do a few touch-ups. They're actually a 5mm nut. I thought they were 316. They're not. They're 5mm, the nuts for those nose cone things. And I've got to take those off and put them on the grill. And there's a little bit to go yet. Because I was gapping things, it was easier just to open the bonnet like that. So that's... It's sitting up the back, and I can't remember what Graham said to do with that. I think you turn the hinge, but you can see it's sitting up a little bit at the back. It's not bad, but then my gap's always notoriously crap. But hang on. But whatever the case, it's just a bit of a clean-up job and finishing off. I'm really keen to drive it. I was actually thinking about what I can stick in the final episode too. And today Marty dropped off this door, XF door, and it's beautiful. No rust, nothing like that in it. It's got it's pushed in there, but we can fix that. I don't think it's going to be too hard to fix at all, though it goes into there as well. But I'll tap it out, skim and fill, block the whole thing, and that's a much better sort of idea, because also it's got that side intrusion bar I was talking about with the other one. And it also looks like it's got illuminated things, so there'll be the 2 holes beneath here. Also, that's already been drilled, so that's great. So we'll use that on the Fairlane, and this one, that's a scuff and a paint. Watch, I'll use some stripper on there. Get rid of that top bit. Ooh, a cricket. And once that's done, I can start getting the front end for the EJ out of there, put it back on wheels. It looks pretty ugly there. The XA guards can go on that trolley, and we'll start emptying that shed out because I'm going to relocate it. So, bit of stuff happening, just the way I like it. The thing worthy of mention are these lovely ceramic coated Clevo exhaust manifolds. These will go on the Fairland. I should have done the XCs as well. They have a coating sort of inside and out. And they look absolutely superb. Now, I haven't got them done in the chrome. They're done in the sort of cast iron colour. It'll probably pale a little bit. I don't know. But they put up with a higher temperature than the chrome one. I've got the chrome one on the MG and the Sigma. I've got both of them done. These two to get done were quite reasonable. Very reasonable. And so they'll go on the Fairlane. I just wish I'd done it on the XC, but I didn't. And of course, when it comes time, if I ever do the XD engine, I'll do the same. And the XW has one 289 hypo manifold, so I've got to get both of them done too when I replace that. So that's really good. That looks fantastic. What I've got to do is get these hydroblasted and plated. I'm not ready to get too much plated because that's the only stuff I've got. In saying that, I also have to visit the hydroblaster to do the XC's wiper arms. I can sit here and rub this back, but I'm not going to. I'll just give it to him. It won't cost much. I do have to get that rubber part there, or rubber, the plastic part, and I'll get it delivered before I cut that off. That's going to be rigid, and it goes on a ball on the scuttle or on the thing to keep it straight. And we'll just pop the blades out, and that does not look like an XC one. Damn, hang on. XC one's got the board on. Maybe it is, I don't know. I'm not sure. I better try that. That looks like a Starlet one. This one definitely is, because it's got that ball there. It goes on. I was wrong. It is an XC one. Let me just step over this. The saw, not good like that. It's about the right length, and the Starlet one's pivoted further up. So we can dig that spring out and plate it. I don't think I'll bother though. I'll get them blasted, I'll etch them, and I'll throw a bit of satin black on. I think that's going to be fine. And I'll see where that takes us, but I need those to go on. I've also got to put these in. Now these are the side indicators, and that's knackered. You see all lots of ads for the lenses, and I've got some good lenses. These are the side marker ones down there. Right, Marty paid a visit. Here's the gent that gave me the door, the XF door for the Fairlane. And he's dropped some Clevo stuff off. Now, my brother's changed his mind. Can you hear me? There's wind. He wants to use a Cleveland now rather than the Dart. So we've got 302 rods. Apparently there's some 351 rods. I'm kind of spewing that there's not a set there because that's exactly what I need. A couple of Bosch starters. They're always handy to have. Great looking manifolds. Look at these, and the studs are out of them, so they're perfect for ceramic coating. Perfect. It's hard finding them like that now where they're not cracked. Timing case, the only one I had left wasn't that great, so we'll get that blasted as well. Right there. Sorry about the wind. Set of 302 rods and pistons. I think they're at 30. And a crank that's never been ground. Another one of these. I've got a few of these. This is a 351 XCDE thermoquad manifold. EGR plate, set of main studs, brand new. This is what I wanted for the Fairlane too, a brand new EGR guide. That's perfect. Got to put all this stuff in a safe place. That's brand new. I've actually never seen one brand new. I was going to just mock up the old one, but no, that's a new one that we can use on the Fairlane to give it that factory look. It's the sort of thing I'd be inclined to keep actually, even if I got rid of the car. And there's a bag of stuff here, so we'll just put some of this stuff away and we'll have a look in this bag. Right, so we've got a little 302, which was going in the Fairlane. And chuck these manifolds on. Now these were, what's it called? They were ceramic coated, yeah. And of course they look, I've already scratched one with orange off my thing, but anyway, doesn't matter. They'll go at that. Now, I don't know if I can put the other side on yet. And they'll stay that colour, they won't change, or at least I hope they don't. So I guess the first thing is to pop a bit of sealer on this gasket. I'll put a bit of Celastic on and we'll do it up. Just around the ports, we don't have to go bananas with this stuff. Once you put this on, now I never do when I'm testing an engine, never put this stuff on because I reuse gaskets on the stand. But when it's a permanent fixture, I'm inclined to just put a light application of it around. You can't reuse gaskets once you've used this because they'll bond to it and delaminate, which doesn't matter because you're not supposed to reuse gaskets anyway. But I guess through a couple of heat cycles this will start to bond on, this ceramic coating. I've done it the wrong way. Now, what have we got? The long ones. I put 2 applications of the stuff on the wrong side. It doesn't matter as long as it just holds it for now until I can sort out what fasteners I want to use. There are some, like from the other side, that are sort of critical because they're longer and the heat shield goes on. I've already dirtied this up, look at it. You have to put the engine hooks on just to make it look kind of semi-legit. Well, I've got to use these stainless ones that are longer to go in here. It's not a big deal, it's only a cheap little engine, but I'm going to put some anti-seize on and run them in because I don't want them galling. And the rest of the thread's fine, it's just these don't go in too far and they're alright around the other parts, but just around where that bracket is I need to put them in. So, you know, you can see we're already out of thread. And the only other ones that are slightly longer are these ones for the heat shield, and I don't want to use them, so I'll just use those stainless ones. I bought another one here somewhere, I don't know what I've done with it. And where did I put it? Oh, here it is. I'll use these ones. They're sort of surplus anyway. I've got a bunch of stuff like this. And chuck it in and we're out of there. There we go. That looks lovely, doesn't it? Yeah, unfortunately I can't get that side on because it does fail with the stand. But you can see how lovely it looks. Looks good, doesn't it? Right, well, it must be time to get this down. A couple of cracks. I did the wrong thing with this. It was hanging on a wall. And consequently it could have sagged. Don't know. But what we want to do, give it a bit of a clean up I suppose, but we want to also see if it's going to fit the car. And with it fitted to the car, have a look at the cracks and work out a plan of attack to repair them. Got a big one going down through here, which we saw before, right there, ugly. Sorry about the wind. There's one going into the indicator housing. We'll drill the end of that. Can you see it? Probably not. And we've got some crazing happening there now. Oddly enough, I've got 2 grills. This is the better of the 2. So it's what we've got. It does need a bit of a wash, and I want to see what it's like when we fit this stuff up. And that could open up more cracks. I don't know what it's going to do. Right, I've got some screws. Probably not enough. These are special screws. They've got a very coarse self-tappet thread arrangement on them. I'm just going to stick a few in. Normally I would use a lubricant, CRC or something, but because I'm going to paint this thing, I want to keep that sort of thing off, if you know what I mean. Am I in the right spot? Yes, I think I am. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to have to shift this around a bit. Just so I can move it into position, tighten it down, and hope for the best. I think the worst thing I did was hang this on the garage wall. I've had this grill for as long as I've had the XC, so 9 years. So it hasn't been on a car for a long, long time. So it could well have misshapen. That's not right. We've got to be really careful about this, because one thing I've noticed about the XC, particularly with the dash, is it's super brittle. So there's the problem here. Looks like the grill's too far that way. And it's not that bad there. If you look at this, aside from the fact I've messed this up, I'll show you why. The nose cone, the paint's too thin at the top. But when I put that on, aside from the colour not being right, it's actually got about a 10mm gap at the side. A little bit more at the top, which is normal. I'm going to try the other side just a moment. Bluebird's sort of in the way, I can't see very well. I'll go in there. Damn, I can't see. Oh, that's hard against it, is it? Oh, no. Oh, that's not too bad. It's similar along the top, maybe a bit higher on this side, but it's not that bad. I reckon we can get away with that. It's not too bad, but I think it's alright to start sort of looking at how we're going to fill these cracks. No idea if this is going to work, but whoopsie, just do a few turns around this screwdriver and I'll cut that off. And we're just going to make a series of jump rings out of this wire. So these sorts of things, and I'll show you how to do with them. It's an idea I got off Facebook from one of these stupid videos. You know, the ones where they generate electricity out of nothing and people think you can make energy out of nothing? One of those sorts of videos. Sometimes I have car repair ones and they're absolutely terrible. The reason I'm using small ones is because I'm stupid. Well, maybe. I can't. Let's squeeze that together. Just make little rings like that. And I'm going to burn them into the bumper crack and just see how it goes. I'd like bigger ones, but I haven't got anything to burn it that's going to be big enough. I'm just going to try this. It's probably going to turn out to be rubbish, but it's worth a go. So, I'm just going to get this timber lock nail in here and just heat this sucker up. I'll change hands. So I've got them. I've got them sort of zigzagged. It's melting the plastic, all right. And popping it below the level of the thing. I just need to get it hotter, that's all. So, also you want to do this in open air because melted plastic is toxic. Oh, that worked. And what I'll do after that, I mean, you could do a big zigzag one, would probably be better. I've got this so the gaps alternate, except those two. And what I hoped was that I could bury them sufficiently to fill over the top. But you can actually bury them just with a nail and a little torch. So I'm going to continue doing this, and I shall be back in a moment. I buried them all up here. I didn't get into there. It's nice and strong, although there is still movement up here. I'm going to glue a piece of sheet metal under there. I can get behind it, and also across there. Just there. That's all right. Just here. But I've got it now where it'll stay there while I take the grill off and maintain the correct gap for the fit on the car. So this is Marty's again. He gave it to me. This has been, so it was a 351 I think and it was had a cracked crank, so I could have had one of those 77 cranks. It's been taken to 30, and I've got to see if we can stroke that, because normally the stroker kits come with 30 overs, but no, my brother, he wanted forged pistons, so it's probably going to go to 35 or whatever, but I don't know how it'll clean up. It looks pretty good though. It's a JH63, so it's a Brisbane 63. That's a Fairmont, isn't it? Bit of wind, sorry about that. Also this rather delicious pair of 302 heads. These are sort of surplus to what I need at the moment, but they're there. They're probably pretty decent cores. They're not recessed or anything from what I can feel. Moving on, we get into the exciting part of putting some headlights together. I've only got 3 of those. Don't know why. No idea. I'm having some trouble figuring out brackets and things. I don't know what some of these are from. And of course, there's our headlight. Now, this is what I'm thinking now. There's an awful lot of Fairmont GXLs when they were still quite new with leaky headlights. My brother had one. That was the car that had some rust in it. It also had up to there with water. And I wonder if it's, during wet weather when you're driving, surface tension on here and the water's going straight in there. I wonder. It could be something like that. So I'm going to make some rings up and bond them on there with a bit of Sikaflex, a bit of 2G7. So the water, if it does run off here, it runs up the ring and then off the end. It can't actually get in. That's the only way I can think of, alleviating that problem. Giving it a wash. So it's a lovely shade of sort of semi-grey. It's supposed to be black. There's our little dodgy repair down there. Looking underneath it, I'm going to put a plate there. I'm going to rough that up. I'll cross-hatch that with a Dremel, and I'm going to put a plate there and a plate there, and a plate all the way along here and there. And we'll just use a 2-part epoxy to adhere that on. And then from the other side, we can channel it and fill it and do what we need to do. So, they're the adjusters for the headlights, the lower ones and upper ones. And I should have got them plated. I didn't know you could actually take that out. That's just a bolt that slides in. Time to look at some headlights. This was done by Firewall. I'm just covering my address up for the price of $325. And I'm going to say don't waste your money anywhere. There's a set of these new old stock which look knackered online at the moment for $1,200, right? These were stuffed, and now look at them. They're absolutely beautiful, and I can't complain. Oh, I've got to get things in frame better. See that? Wow, so cool. Anyway, I don't know how this works. Put it in. Where's the big bit? There it is. I don't know. So there's a couple of springs too. There's a spring. Hey, where's the spring? Oh, bloody spring. Here's some springs. I wonder if these are the right ones. So I'm not sure. There's a spring also that goes between here and the top as well, but I'm not sure how that works. Does that fit in there? Not the foggiest. It's called a case of NFI. I'm going to have to thread these on. Damn. I should have done this before I put the bloody camera on. It might help if I change my glasses because I can't see what I'm doing. Right. I'm trying to thread these with some success. And there we go. And we put that on, squeeze it down. Now these are easy to get the lens off. Hang on. Oh, look. Oh, isn't that cute? They're easy to get the lens off by sticking them in the oven. That's how I did it. That's Sikaflex 227. This stuff, the white stuff there. I put in the oven at 200 degrees for about 10 minutes. Came out, and I used a bone, I think, the plastic thing, and just prized the lens off, and the knackered reflectors went off to Mario. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop these things on. I think under the Parker is the short one. And the other thing I did, which makes me a real clot, is I didn't get these plated. They look terrible. Let me just get some Scotch Brite. Right, well, I've made a mistake. I want to show you exactly what I've done. These are the other way around. I had them fitted that way. And if you have them the wrong way, these saddles, pardon me, don't fit. So that wide one won't go in that channel. So that way, the headlights go this way in the car. And yeah, 2 side-to-side adjustments are done from inside the headlight here. Yeah, and there. Not the outside. And the top one, of course, is the up and down. So they look rather lovely. What do you think? Gee, I've got to apologise. I keep jumping between cars. Right, so this is the console from the ZK, and it's knackered. We can rebuild bits of it. This is stuffed in here, and it's cracked along there as well. It's not bad otherwise. You know, it isn't that bad. I did find that one. It's XE, I think. Lovely bloke. Ash, was it? Sorry if I got your name wrong, buddy. Right, one of these we need for the XA. So I've actually got a couple of those. I'll hydroblast them and give them to my brother. Someone's painted that white, but it doesn't matter. You can always paint it back. And it's intact, no cracks whatsoever. So that's actually a chicken dinner. Now this one is a bit of a hybrid, I think. So it has had a few darts smoked in there, doesn't matter. In great condition. Hasn't got the little string thing, but we can put one in. The bin's perfect. It's really good. That's white or pale grey, that'll come out there. It's only a screw holding that in. The important part is it's exactly the same part. One's covered with vinyl and one's not. One of those ears is broken, but that's common. My XD's like that. This little guy here, I don't even know what that is, probably it's Motorcraft. I don't know what that is. That could be a time delay for the interior light or something. I don't know. That'll fit in there. That is the same. Just pull foam and stick it on there and you can see. That's just a black patterned vinyl as well. Patterned plastic as well. So I'm wondering whether just to recolour that and use that. In fact, I'm going to. And that way it'll be kind of like an FC LTD because they had a recoloured console. They weren't padded. I don't think. Certainly the ZJ wasn't. I don't think. I've got no idea. But it's got a loom there for... Oh, that'll be for the T-bar quadrant. So I can fix that up. And it's just perfect. It's lovely. And I'm really, really happy with it. It's in such good condition. So, Ash, thank you very, very much indeed, mate. I'm so appreciative. Oh, the builder's next door. Just putting a couple of plates in, just to brace underneath where those cracks are. We'll dig out the crack from the other side, refill it with a bumper filler. I'm just going to let this go off. It's the 24-hour stuff, so it does take a while. Oh, I'm out of focus. Brings me to this part. I'm having trouble locating another one of those. I have found one on eBay. Hang on. Which is completely wrong. Hang on a second, let's just put that there. It looks like a small badge that they've used the software to sort of expand it, and it's made it quite, the font's wrong and the colour's wrong. Look, if we didn't know about those, that'd look fine, but I can't use that. I've only got the old XD one from the front of the XD, which is the original one. I'm just going to see if I can make that look a little bit better. So quite often these things have to look worse before they look better. And I've started to, let me get a chair, hang on a minute. I've started to knock back, so where some of the adhesive was, there's a track of it there. They're the rings I put in, a little bit shallow on the back, but we'll see what we can do with that. There's another one. There was one in the indicator. And I drilled a hole at the end of the crack. Can you see that? Hole at the end of the crack, taped over it, and it's blocked off now, which is good. And I found another one there, and that had tape on it. It's a bit rough and ready. And I'm just going to start with some 120, and of course a cup of tea. So I didn't use adhesive on that. I did on the back side of it, but this one I might put the camera in a different spot. There we go. Oh, gee whiz. Alright, so I didn't use adhesive here. I did on the other side, but that bit there I didn't. So it's divoted where the nail was heated up and pressed in. A bit of bumper fill in there is going to be fine. Oddly enough, I used degreaser and soap, and I still didn't get all that off. So That's all got to be taken off. In order to do this, particularly in these areas here, I've got to sort of come in like that, just to get that, and this is just 120, just to get them level. I'm a little bit worried about the edge of that, I don't want to damage it. But it'll take off the high. That's a good thing about this Headlight, it's very sandable. It might actually be better to use a small block and go that way, and then of course this being 120, we go 240, then probably 320 after that, and then that's going to be fine for priming. So I'm tipping a bit of a just try and get it like that. It should have a block there though, but I'm just a little bit worried about that trim, because I don't know that that trim comes off very easily. I don't want to damage it, but I'm just sort of sanding there and on the top. I'm not getting up against it, which is a bit of a concern. I might have to get a small block, just a really small one to go along there. What a gorgeous morning. Look at that. And it's 9:10 in the morning. So I've just got to do a bit of whippersnipping, clearing up. Got to watch this guy. I might actually take that home and bring the other one up. But I've got to tidy up the garage. My stomach's going. Where are we going? Let's start these cars today. The problem with this garage is that you've only got a single door for access, which is rubbish. I got a guy to come and quote to stick another, roller door on this wall, single one, an access door, and then push this wall out, and it was 10 grand. So I thought, I can push that wall out for about $1,000, if that. Probably $800 in materials. Listen to those things that are a pain in the ass. One, see those things there? Corellas. I don't know if you can see it on camera. They're, so my ex-wife lives, like, just over there, and there was a gunshot, and one of them fell out of the sky and landed in her backyard. So someone's sick of them. So, Mr. Newbury is going to pick up these. These are from the EJ. I'm still going to do the EJ, but I'm going to do it so, well, the plan is to do the Plenum chamber, then I can put the Y-frames in the front, put a front end back in it, get it rolling again, and then put the panels on, because it's got some really good panels. I'm giving away, well, I'm not giving away, he's buying it back, those ones, but because the EJ is not going to get done anytime soon, it just means I'll have to source doors and stuff later. I'm not worried about that. My daughter bought me that because it's Peter Shed. And the XA is coming home. I'm not using the guards, but I am going to take the top off this Plenum. They're not holes, they're just black marks. I don't like that. There. It started to go in there. So it's ugly, so I'm taking that off. I'll take the whole top off. The sides are stuffed. Oh, I'm out of focus. Is that back? Yep. Better than new old stock to new sides. So I'll get new sides, but I want to keep that because it's drilled for the small plates, but it has the big plate. And that's part of the car. I'll fix that bit of rust there. That's pretty easy. A-pillars are stuffed in this car, and there's a lot of rust issues underneath this guard. That's going to be quite challenging. A little bit of sheet metal repair there, and a little bit along the back of the parcel tray. That I can make. Actually, no, I probably can. I think I've got another parcel tray. I might just cut one off and just weld a new piece in, and then drill out these spot welds and plug it in from this side. And that way that gets that all done. And then of course there's those bits, which is pretty standard on these. And this guard is rooted. So this one's all the channels are gone underneath the boot lid, and it's all buckled and stuffed down there. So I would actually like to put a new rear quarter on it. And my brother's already going nuts. He's changed his mind with the dart motor. I got the Clevo from Marty. Sorry Marty, I just forgot your name. It's a 30 over but we're going to get it sonic tested, see if we can stick a stroker kit in it. John wants a 393 with Chi 3B heads and all that sort of stuff. He's doing that. I'll do the car. He's doing the driveline. So he's looking at a Tremec 5-speed or a top loader. I'd almost prefer a top loader, but if you get a Tremec, you'd probably run a 325 in the back. Top loader, probably 3, just to keep the revs down at 100. Jason's got the interior. I do have to do some repairs on these doors, but Kevin got them for me. Kevin Susie sets, and he did a really good job. So I'm not touching this here. I was going to do bits of it here, but I'll take it home, and I'll do it there, but I've got to make room at home first. I wasn't sure how easily this would start, but it seems pretty good. I've got to give it, let it warm up. I just gave the Starley a warm up and hosed it. It was very dirty out there, but in here the car seems to stay fairly clean. I might actually change that seal. We've got rust at the back. A lot of this pops through and we didn't know about it. The front doesn't look too bad, although it's stoved in there. It might be easy just changing the whole thing. Although, pardon me, I don't think it is easy at all because the B-pillar is on top of it. Graham did say something about the B-pillar. You can see where he tacked it there. That's horses for courses. Before I do that, I'd be inclined to do the rear quarter. Actually, which would you do? I don't know, I've never done either. But I'll figure it out and do it. The main thing is, this rear quarter, that's not great. Oh, that's the turret, hang on. That's not great. I don't know what it's like in the arches. You know, we've got, that's easy, just hit that sort of stuff back. This is shagged. You can get corners. You can get these straight bits, you can get these corners. So I'm going to rebuild the back of it. I'll get a new taillight panel, better than your stock. I've got those. And I think Graham recommended doing this as well. But I don't think I will. I don't know. I reckon I can add to that bottom one because the bottom one's clean. And it's clean on the lip. It's just here that it's shagged. So that could have been, see this clip here, I left one off the XW because the XW had that, but it was a lot more minor just on the edges, and I left that rubber channel off because it just holds water. So I cut it lower and then left it off. So that'll be, and I'm not putting one on this either, so I'll change that. Does that look, are they supposed to be on an angle or is that being smacked? I'm not sure. No, I think that's the way they're supposed to be. And I've got to know all this stuff before I do it. That guard's good. I can fix that. The XC had a similar sort of thing to that. Rebuild that corner, that's a piece of cake for me. I don't mind that. And the rest of that quarter's good. Although I might be getting a section for the bottom. Oh, look at this. Holy crap. Should I have used these on the XC? Hang on. Oh my. Hold on a minute. Oh wow. Gee whiz. That means I can put a deeper tip on because I put the XC one right at the back. I'm going to take those with me today and just have a look. But this is actually pretty good. It's a lot of work. You know, we've got a bit here. I think you can get these too. You can get those and then you can get those. So it's going to be rebuilding the whole back. So this boot lid I will keep with the bullet holes. It's got a good trim here. That's actually great. I'm looking forward to this. The parcel tray's never been cut. Just the damage at the back, which I looked at before. A little bit on the floor. The car's massively expensive. I can rebuild the tunnel. But given the history of it, it's a really, really good project. And we're, you know, DJ did a lot of work recovering this. Graham did a lot of work organising bits and pieces and fitting up panels in the roof and everything. So the rest is up to me. And I'm actually quite comfortable with it. Engine bay schmick. I'll probably weld those holes up. I don't like those washer bottles under the hinge. I think they're ridiculous. And I'll straighten that out. That looks a little bit... And the easiest way to straighten that out, we'll just drill those spot welds out and drop that bottom piece and just hammer and dolly it back into shape, and then that strength is given by welding that bottom bit on again. It's probably too stuffed on this car, I'm not sure. But the rest of it's good. It doesn't look like it's been preened or anything. What have we got? Yeah, no, I'll fix that. That's actually a nice, easy repair, that one. I've done a couple of those. And we're putting power steering in, of course. 16 to 1 on all Ford steering boxes. Well, power steering boxes, not those. That's a 20 to 1, they're horrible. And the rest of it's all good. So it's just a matter of, like with this bit, taking the guards off, that's all stuffed in here. And on the other side, and welding a brace up. And just starting to systematically pull stuff apart and rebuild it. And the first couple of rebuilds of bits and pieces like that will really quantify the work and make it sort of easier to do, if you know what I mean, easier to face than looking at the whole thing and being a bit daunted, which in the mood I'm in now, I'm not daunted at all. You know, the XC was the thing that threw me, and I got that looking lovely. Even though it was a lot straighter, this is honest, you can see everything that's wrong with it, where the XC, I was cutting the firewall out, I cut the parcel tray out, I cut the caster rod housings out, and I rebuilt everything else. The cross member had to be rebuilt. You know, it was a lot of work that I didn't expect. If I'd expected it, it wouldn't have been bad. Anyway, what I'm doing here, I'm trying to find room in this garage, which is the same deal I do at home all the time. And so the XA is going to come home. The EJ is going to go in there after I've done some work on it. I'm on long service leave, so I'll do some work on that. And I'll have to put the XD in here. And some of this, that's Graham stuff, some of this goes. So some stays and some goes. A bit lemon squeezy. You can't make that much use of the room because of this narrow door. At a pinch you could fit 5 in, but this is actually a perfect open area to... I've got a trestle table at home and I'll set it across the back there. And that could just be a light workbench. I've just got to line that cardboard and take those exhaust mounts out. Even getting that little guy in was difficult because you're right up against the door here and you're watching that. They're not as small as they look, those things. They're actually quite roomy. I've got to polish that. That'll come up like glass. It's all dull. So I've got to do some domestic work in the house and some mowing and not mowing, what do you call whippersnipping, and some exhaust pipe removal, bracket removal. So it's got to tidy up here a bit too. I'm still working on this grill and it's so dirty. Some of the repairs, that one's really good. That's just araldite. That's a bit of bumper fill in there. There was a huge crack there. I'll paint this whole thing. I'll prime it, then do it in satin black, and then I'll mask these up and just rattle can silver in there. Now, as far as imperfections are concerned, there's a swelling there of adhesive. I don't care about that. Anything that looks like a manufacturing defect isn't going to worry me. So, for example, on the XD, there's a big moulded lump in the console next to the quadrant, and it's never bothered me because it was always there. Over here needs a bit more, just in that area there where it's pitted. That would have just been air in the fill. The fill I'm using is bumper filler. I know it was the right thing. 2016, my god, date of production 7th of September 2016. Might be a bit out of date, but it seems to be doing alright. Oddly enough though, the araldite's the way to go. That's why I use it on steering wheels. It's brilliant stuff. That's the 24 to 72 hour curing stuff too. It's not the 5-minute quickie stuff, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to use a finger and in that corner and ramp it off at each end and smooth it. I'll do a bit more there. I don't know that anything needs to be done anywhere else. I think that side sort of, that's just a moulding mark there. I think it's pretty much alright. I'm just using normal bog hardener. There's probably too much of it in there, I don't know. Oh, there was a bit here, wasn't there? I think that's all I needed. Just a little. I always mix too much of it, and then I think, oh, I'll mix a smaller amount, then there's never enough. A Holden action, right. So, I thought to myself, while the fillet's drying on the grill, why don't I have a crack at this? I'm using a spot weld drill. Where is it? Somewhere. Which only goes in like this. Now, the reason I've done them there and I've got holes here is because that whole dash is going. I'm throwing it out. I've got another one out of that red one we got, and they're joined there. So that stays, even though it's pretty dodgy. Like there's rust in there and all sorts of stuff. So I've yet to figure out what I'm going to do with that. So this is disposable, so I can go right through, the dash being the last layer. There's 3 layers there. So I'm going along. I've done all this with the spot weld drill. There's spot welds here and there's spot welds there. I haven't finished doing that yet. And the idea, can I get past? I'm just going through on the first skin. To see that. Now, these are huge. These are 8mm. I got 8mm because when you do 6, there's always a teardrop shape or something that's holding it on. It's not quite right. So in the case of this, I'm starting with 6, and if it's no good, finish it with an 8. Once I can do that, I'll cut down there and along here, and then there. So I want to lift the top off without touching that bit there. So I'm just going to persevere and try my hand at getting it right. It's been a pain. I bought that. This is a cheap one, 35 years ago or something, and I was scraping bricks from it. Then I was sharpening the edge, and I was cutting windscreens out with it. All sorts of things. So that's freed up, that one. And the other reason I'm using this, which is probably unconventional, is I don't want to bend the metal too much and stretch it. I just want to have it so it'll just lift off. Despite all good intentions, that thing's got a few buckles in it just around the ridges, around the edges. Same with here, but I can hammer and dolly all this. It's all good. Now, what I've got to work out is a couple of things. This thing's good here, but I'm going to take that out too. That is one, just a folded or a stamped pressing that's spot welded along here, I think. That skin there, this second skin is the Firewall. No, it's not. That's the Firewall. No idea. The one behind it's the dash. So what we've got is we've got a bunch of rust and a bit of yuck stuff underneath there. So this looks like it's something that can be just taken out. I'm not sure. It looks like it, doesn't it? So I need to investigate that. I've got no idea. I've never done this before. But if I can just drill that out across there, across here, I'll take that out too. Because, pardon me, what I'd like to do, and there's all rust, look at this, like it's just bad. So I can fix all of that. It's taken, I know, a few hours to get this all off. And I've buckled some things, so a bit of hammer and dolly will fix that up. The top comes off, and it's all rusty underneath. Now, with this sort of thing, I'm just going to get it hydroblasted. I always talk about that and bang on about it. But you get it back nice and clean, Epotech under there, never going to have a problem again. So then we've got this bit here. Let's get in and have a closer look. Like that. This one pulls out as well and leaves us with our semi-rooted Plenum. Hang on, I'm just going to throw that in there for now. Same thing with this. It's rusty and horrible. The other side I've had to cut off because it was all rusted through and rooted. And this is what we're left with now. Nobody does repair sections for these. So you can see these things are knackered. They're ducts, I think, from the header to the demister. I'm going to cut those out and just use exhaust tubing for those. And we rust at the back, and it goes through into the cabin space. Through there, hang on. Maybe I can go this way, there you are. So, look, there's a couple of things with this. This metal is probably going to blow through. I'm going to be chasing it with a welder. I'm tempted to actually take that whole trough out It's separate from the firewall. Well, it's not, it's spot welded in, but I've got to find the spot welds, and they can be difficult to find. And it sits under where the windscreen does, and it sits under at the side here. I reckon it's going to be easier doing this on a bench or on a set of trestles and patching it up. Just doing little tacks, putting it back in situ, and doing the rest of the welding, the stuff I can get to, and the rest of it doing outside of the car. Finishing it off, blasting it again, Epotech, welding it in the car, and we're golden. Now, I wouldn't dare take the dash out yet, because that's a perfect reference for where the windshield goes. Also, without this here, it's going to be easier to fix up these bits in here. So that's the bit that I'm thinking at the moment I might actually remove from the vehicle and just repair it. And once that's all done, and it shouldn't take that long, I'll do the mounts under here, and that means I've got to do a little repair on the floor down there, put the dash in. It's a big job. And then the whole front of the car is fixed. It's all done, you know. And the rest of it's got a good roof and everything on it. So I'm not that upset about it. I'm just going to fix it and put it back on its wheels and take it up to the other place and bring the XA home. But I reckon if we do it there, like do it properly, in a trough, weld the exhaust tube in, bit of seam sealer, fill this thing right up with water, make sure no leaks inside, have to block that off, then I reckon that's a good start. Well, I'm still working on this thing. It's not a great one. I think the fact it was sitting up on the wall in the garage for so long and got stress fractures through it. I don't remember seeing it. Maybe it had them before, I'm not sure, but I don't think this is the best example of a grille we can hope for the car. If something better comes along when I've got a bit more money, I'll do it, but for now we've got a pig in lipstick. I'm going to paint it, which will be all done in the next chapter. So, thanks very much for watching. Here comes the wind. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.